Love Letters to Crafting, letter number 6, community. Dear crafting community, you came into my life at the perfect moment. My son was growing into a time in his life when he didn't need as much from me. I had just left a high-stress job for something less demanding. I was ready to focus on me again. A friend mentioned that she had visited this cool, eclectic store in Maplewood, and I decided to check it out. Red Lead was my first experience with an independent art store that catered to the weekend artist. The owners, Chris and Sharon, were sisters who were fun and funny. They offered all kinds of classes, so I signed up for a few. I'm naturally introverted. A class setting where the focus is on the process or technique and the attention isn't on me helped ease me out of my shell. I eventually relaxed and talked more. Now I was not only stretching my creative wings, but I was also making friends. I needed friends. Some of my new art friends told me that there was this place on the internet called Yahoo Groups, where you could chat with lots of people from all over the world. I joined some of those art groups and got involved with swaps and round robins. After that point, it's difficult to trace or remember the zigzag flow chart to where we are now. Blogs were new too, and I read lots of creative folks' blogs. Those bloggers hosted meetups and online classes and created discussion groups. I met more people. I met my dear friend Becky by taking her classes at Red Lead. Becky's the one who taught me how to knit. Knitting took me into lots of local yarn stores where I enrolled in classes and met other knitters who are now my friends. Then came Facebook and Instagram, Snapchat and YouTube. All of these places and ways to connect and create community. And I'll say it strong and with fervor that the internet is a lot of things, but for me, the redeeming aspect of the internet is far and away its role in my life connecting me with a community of people I now call friends. Crafting community, you gave me a sense of belonging when I felt isolated. You give me support when my inner critic is at its harshest. You bring me creative challenges and inspiration when the well is low. Thank you for opening the world to me and folding me up in your arms. I wouldn't be who I am today without you, crafting community. With all my crafty heart, Heidi. Hi, welcome to Love Letters to Crafting. I'm your hostess, Heidi, and I'm coming to you from the Gateway to the West, St. Louis, Missouri, where I'm from. Today started out being very blustery and rainy and chilly, and now the clouds have cleared off and the rain stopped and the sun's peeked out. Today is the first day of standard time in the Midwest, and so I had an extra hour. And so I thought I'd hop on and record an episode. Once again, this is Love Letters to Crafting, where I extol all the virtues of my crafty loves. And today I'm talking about the crafting community. I have some new subscribers and some new viewers thanks to some links from some of my crafting community friends. I wanted to thank them for giving me a shout out, Marianne Moss and her sister Carol. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You guys sent a lot of traffic my way, and that's very nice of you. I hope all you new viewers like what you see, and if you do, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps. And feel free to subscribe. And if you hit the bell next to the subscribe button, you'll be notified when new episodes come out. Great. So truly, the crafting community, similar to the way that crafting saved my life, the crafting community really saved my life too. I did not have tons of friends. It was one of those times in your life where you have friends and acquaintances through your kids and your kids' activities because they go to school and that's what you spend a lot of time doing. But we didn't have very many similar interests outside of our kids. I was creative. I liked to sew, and it was before I knew how to knit. And I was really looking for some place where I could meet people that were like me in liking to create things. And so I was very lucky, very fortunate to be introduced to the Red Lead ladies, Chris and Sharon, who owned a store at the time. It was in Maplewood. It's moved a few times. It's online now. But they offered classes, and I just loved going there and filling up my creative reservoir with inspiration and taking their classes and meeting more people. And I met a lot of really great people during that time in my life, and one of which is my friend Becky, who taught me how to knit, and also my friend Linda, who was one of the students at Red Lead as well, and now she knits with our knitting group on well, we always switch it around. You know, sometimes we knit on Mondays, sometimes we knit on Thursdays. But anyway, it's really an important gathering for me. I really like to knit with those ladies. And last weekend, I was fortunate enough to be invited to a knitters gathering by Lulu of Folk Fiber Studio. She's here in St. Louis, and she's really a sweetheart. And I met up with some ladies who I did not know. I did not know any of them, and that is totally not like me to do that. But I know knitters are the best folks, and so I was confident that I was going to get to know people that I was going to like. And I was 100% right. So thank you so much, Lulu, for inviting me, and thank you to all the ladies who were there and made me feel so welcome. So, today I have a few things to talk to you about. The light is crazy today. So it was cloudy. I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough light at all, and now it's really bright. I hope this isn't too distracting right here. But I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. First of all, I have two finished objects. The first one, I'm going to stand up and see if I can show you in an unawkward way. This is my Carbeth pullover. Kate Davies is the designer, and I took this class at Notorious, my local yarn shop, with Grace, and I finished this one, but I also cast on the cardigan, and that is a work in progress right now. But I wanted to finish this, so I'm going to stand up. I don't know if you can see, but I have it on with my high-waisted jeans, and I almost fell down. The construction is really great. It's bottom up, which I don't usually do. I usually do top down. Hold on, I'm going to try and fix the light. What do you think? Is that better? Yeah, I think so too. Okay, I'm going to stand up again, and I'm going to move my chair out of the way so I can back up a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. So this is the Carbeth pullover by Kate Davies, and it is bottom up, and you knit the sleeves separately and then join them, and then you do these decreases to the collar. In Kate Davies' version, she has this collar folded down, but I liked it up like that, and I knit the cuffs longer so that I could roll them up. This yarn is Paton's Classic Wool DK Superwash, and I played a serious game of yarn chicken. I'm going to sit back down. Returning viewers may remember that Cheapskate Heidi got this yarn at Tuesday morning, and I had driven all over St. Louis to buy every skein that I could find, and that was 14 skeins. They're not like super generous yardage skeins, but I went on the pattern and noted what the yardage was, and I was for sure that I was going to have way more than I needed. And I could tell when I got to about here that I was not going to have enough. So I was at Tuesday morning anyway. So I scoured again, and I found one more skein. the same colorway. I don't know how I missed it in the first go round, but this time it was in the clearance section, and I used it. I split it in half and used it for the collar, and I literally had less than 5 yards left when I did the bind off. So it was, I could have, if I would have had more yarn, I might have made this longer. But I think I like it like this. I've worn it out today. We ran a couple of errands, and it's toasty warm. I do not need a coat today. It is about 55 degrees, and it was blustery and rainy before, and it was the perfect weight. That being said, I will knit this again for sure. It is like a rug. It is so cozy and dense, and I really, really love it. I wouldn't change a thing. I kept thinking, would I change anything? Would I do any modifications? No, I wouldn't change a thing. I like that the sleeves are nice and long. I have monkey arms, so this is the perfect length for my arms. I will tell you, that is one modification I did do. I knit the cuffs as to the pattern, 20 rows of 2x2 rib, and then it said to only knit 2 rows of stockinette before you begin the increases, but I knit 7 rows, and I knit the sleeves to the length for the size above mine, knowing that I had really long arms, and it wasn't that much longer, maybe a half an inch, but still, I like a generous sleeve. Yeah, I love it. I love, 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 love it. My second finished object is on Margaret the Mannequin. This is my go-to raglan by Stephen West, and the main colors, because I knit it using 2 strands held together of hedgehog fibers in their sock yarn. The colors are Oracle and Anime, and the colors are really more vibrant than they're showing up on the camera right now. This is Bumblebee Acres Farm. I think it's highlighter, and this is a worsted weight in glow stick. It has a folded collar, and although when I initially made the body of this sweater, I wasn't sure if I liked the folded hem. It's actually doubled over, and so I ripped it out because the bind off that I did was quite tight, and I didn't like that. So I undid it, and then when I finished the sweater, I decided that I was gonna hem it anyway, and I did, and I love it. I love it. The only difference between this and the pattern is that I did not do the thumbhole sleeves, and that's okay. I think it's pretty just like this. I love it, and I've worn it. I wore it to the knitting get-together that Lulu invited me to. I wore it on Sunday to my knitting class with Grace, and then I wore it to work on Monday. And it was the perfect Halloween-y kind of colored sweater, but I'm going to wear it a ton. I love it. It's a very good weight. It's fingering weight held double, so it's a little bit heavier than a spring or a fall sweater, but it's still not too heavy, kind of light. Yeah, I like it a lot. So, works in progress. So I was at work a couple weeks ago, and some non-knitting friends were asking me about how often I knit, how much I knit, what I'm knitting on, and I realized that when I was telling them that I had like 5 sweaters on the go. One of them is my Penguono, which I will return to because my other Penguono, my first Penguono that I knit, is so interesting and unique and really wearable because there are 2 ways that you can wear it. Stephen shows it with the collar coming down this way, and then you can flip it upside down, and it really shows off the welts on the back. And I wear it a lot, and it's really like a coat. I like it. It's interesting. Anyway, so I'm definitely going to finish knitting that. And I realized I had this Carbeth sweater, I had my other Carbeth cardigan, I had this sweater, and this sweater, this Go-To Raglan, was finished. I had finished one whole sleeve, and I was just to the decreases on one sleeve. And I realized after I knit these sleeves for the Carbeth that I knit the sleeves for the 2 sleeves in 1 week. And I could definitely finish one sleeve, and I did. I finished it in maybe a night and a half. So I finished 2 sweaters. This sweater was almost 100% finished, and I knew that I needed to just buckle down. And monogamous knitter become. I'm not a good monogamous knitter. Yeah, just ask my husband. Anyway, so at work, someone said, how many sweaters do you have going? And I said 5, and that did seem like a lot of sweaters. So I finished 2. My Carbeth is going to be finished the latest, my Carbeth cardigan, by the latest in December, because that's the last day of the class, and I really want to know how to do the, it has an interesting I-cord buttonhole, and I really want to learn how to do that, and I know Grace is going to teach us how to do that. So, but works in progress, Penguono, and I have made a lot of progress on my Humulus pullover. I'm working on one sleeve, and I am going to run out of my main color. I know that for sure. So I've been looking on Ravelry to find some alternate modifications for this sweater, because I really like this sweater and I really like the color combination, and I've found some color block at the bottom variations to sort of switch the color work from the top in the bottom, so that I have plenty of my contrast color, but I don't have plenty of my main color. So this is, oh, look at my crazy light again. This is the Humulus cardigan by Isabel Kramer, and I've started on the sleeve here. I finished one round of decreases. This is my progress keeper. It's my little coffee cup from Pitter Patter Polymer. Can you see that? And yeah, I love this yarn. It is Shepherd's. I talked about it last episode. I'll put it in the show notes down below. So I think that I've tried it on. I blocked the top, the color work at the top, because I wanted to see how it looked. I think it's going to look nice. If you ever do color work and you feel like it's too puckery, I steam blocked this just to see how it was going to look. And I'm very pleased. Very pleased. So I'm thinking about doing some reverse of this, maybe this diamond pattern on the bottom, and then going into the white. Yeah, I think that'll be nice. Yeah, so I'm working on that, and I started that sleeve yesterday. Okay, and last week, do you remember when I was telling you about my true confessions? My granddogs, I got down on the ground with them when they were puppies. They're still puppies, but when they were littler puppies, I thought, that's a good idea. I'll get down on the ground with them. And that, they knocked me over. Not in a very playful way. They knocked me down on the ground, and they were licking me all over my face, and they stuck their tongue in my ear, and I think I got dog kisses. And when they knocked my glasses off, and when I stood up, I had little scratches. And so I keep thinking that my glasses are dirty, but I realize that it's not that they're dirty, it's that they have little dog paw scratches on them. So that's okay. So, true confessions. Last episode I was talking about the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along shawl. And I spoke about how maybe I'm not the best Mystery Knit Along participant because I like to control my colors, and yeah. And as the clues progressed, I realized that I loved the finished object, but it was never going to be something that I would wear. And it was a lot of knitting and a lot of techniques that I like, but that I would not enjoy doing in a big shawl to wear. I think it's beautiful, and I think a lot of other people are going to love it. I've seen a lot of them, and they're beautiful, but it's just not my style. I'm not going to spoil it, but it has come out. It's a beautiful shawl. I love a lot of Stephen West patterns. This one is not the one for me. So I admitted that before I went too far in. I hadn't finished Clue 1. As we all know, I had not finished Clue 1. But I do have the yarn, and it's all Ching fiber, and I adore it. And I want to show you some of the, here are two of the colorways that came in the kit that I got. I'm going to switch those around because that light colored one is really sucking up a lot of the, I mean, look at those. Really beautiful. I think these would make a beautiful two-color shawl together, or something brioche if I can get up my nerve to do brioche. Lulu and I, speaking of community, Lulu and I spoke briefly about a Skillshare sort of thing where I would help her learn more about sewing, and she might help me learn more about brioche. Okay, I'm going to see if I can do something else about this light. Hold on. What do you think? Better? Okay, fantastic. So let's see. Oh, there we go. That's a better representation. It's a little more buttery yellow than this, but it's still very, very beautiful. So as I said, this is Ching fiber, and these two colors I think would be beautiful together. I've never knit with their yarn before. Here's the other, one of the other colors. Oh my goodness. Look at that color. That pink and that yellow. All those pops of those other gorgeous colors. I just love it. So I ripped my shawl apart. Well, I ripped it apart in that I took it off the needles and I hadn't made very much progress, and each of the rows that you knit, you actually break your yarn. So it would have been all of these like 1.5 2 yard inch lengths, and I wasn't going to try and recycle that little bit of yarn, so I just called it a day. Admitted that I wasn't going to finish it. Don't let that guilt dog me, and moved on, and I'm going to do something else beautiful with that yarn. It does also have this fuzzy Surrey yarn. See that? This is a beautiful fuzzy Surrey mohair. I think it's mohair blend, which will be a lovely accent for something else. And this is the last color of the set that I got. So it's all beautiful yarn that'll be beautiful in another project, just not that shawl. Yeah, so speaking of the knit along, I just wanted to really talk about other ways that I connect with community. So Ravelry is huge, huge. You can see other people's projects. You can search for a particular group there. I'm a member of groups here for St. Louis knitters. There are knit-along groups. It's just there are forums for lots of podcasts and things where people get really into discussions of episodes, but also ask questions about patterns. Pattern designers have forums and groups where there are discussions so that you can ask questions of other people who have knit the pattern, or the designers actually answer questions. It's just a really helpful, lovely free website. So I know that there are two people who came up with the concept for Ravelry, and it has evolved and it's grown so much over the years. In the beginning, I think it was a little bit difficult to get on Ravelry. You had to be invited. I may be wrong about that, but I have been on there for a long time, and even though all my projects are not on there and my projects are not all up to date, I love that I can look up patterns and look at other people's projects, that it is a way for me to buy patterns. It's just a lovely community, a lovely way for people to connect. And if you have watched Christy Glass Knits Show Me Your Rhinebeck Sweater video, she asks everybody what their Ravelry handle is. That was just, it was so beautiful this year. There were a couple of knitters when they met Christy Glass that they cried because it was like on their knitting bucket list to meet Christy Glass Knits. And not only did they meet Christy Glass Knits, but they got to be on her video and they got to talk about their Rhinebeck sweaters. And when you have something that you love so much and you can talk about it with other people who love it that much as well, it breaks down tons of barriers. If you are an introvert and it is hard for you to talk to people, but you meet other people who are knitters and you can say, hey, I recognize that pattern. Is that Caitlin Hunter's Nanilchik Swan Show? Is that, Boylan Knitworks Guthrie sweater? It just breaks down tons of barriers, and it gives you a place to start on common ground right away. I said to somebody last weekend at Lulu's Knit Together that knitting for me is like baseball for my husband. When he meets a new person and they're from St. Louis also, right away you can talk about Cardinals baseball and you have a commonality that you can talk, and nothing else is really important. You can be from different socioeconomic backgrounds, you can be from different parts of the city, you can be different ages, but you can come together and talk about baseball. And I feel like that's what knitting is for me, is that I have been on vacation, and I have in Hawaii last year. There were a number of women who were knitting at the resort that we were at, and I just walked right up and I said, what yarn are you using? What pattern is that? And it was just fun. It was great. I really love it. So Ravelry, Knit-togethers. I've been involved in a couple of quilt-alongs, which are great. They're like a knit-along, but you're sort of quilting with your own fabrics, which is different. And you know what you're going to quilt. You kind of can't, I can't quilt and not know what I'm going to end up with. And obviously, podcasts. The reason that I got excited about making my own podcast is that I can't talk about knitting and creating and crafting enough. And I just wanted a place to talk about it more and to share more and to connect with people more. And I've said this since the very beginning, my very first episode, that I really wanted to have conversations and talk to people about their creative journeys and their crafty loves. So I am going to keep talking to you about them until there are no other viewers. But I love this, and I like the idea of connecting with people all across the world who like crafting too, who like paper arts, who like gluing stuff to other stuff, who like scrapbooking, who like quilting, who like sewing garments, who like embroidery, who like weaving. All of those things are terrific crafting outlets, and I love the idea of talking to people who love to make things with their hands and put them out in the world, or keep them for themselves, or give them away, or whatever. So thank you. I haven't said it yet, but I will tell you that you can reach me on Instagram. My handle is at HeidiSue Wallace, all one word, and I am on Ravelry, and my name is HeidiSue, all one word, capital S. Okay, so what else do I have to talk to you about? I was going to tell you about my Christmas yarn, my desire to make knee socks for every occasion and holiday. And I got some yarn in the mail from Holly Press Fiber. There's her information on the screen. And she has a lovely Etsy shop. And you guys, okay, so this is self-striping. The colorway is Christmas Blizzard. This is her Sheepish Sock fingering weight. It is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. There's 463 yards. Can you even see? So that's gorgeous. I can't wait to see how this knits up. There's some little pink in there, red and green and white, some speckles for sure. I might have to cast these on. But I also couldn't resist because I thought, well, I need to do contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs. Duh. And this is her same base, Sheepish Sock. And this is the Ice Christmas Cookie Set. Look at that. So pretty. So pretty, so pretty. Yeah, so I think this is going to go perfectly well. And Junk Yarn, who is also Raybot, yeah, she has this new pattern, and I'm not going to know how to pronounce it. It's Reine, R-E-I-N-E, and it uses mini skeins, and it is gorgeous. If I can find a picture of the pattern, I'll pop it on the screen. I just got it, and it is striped with some details, some different stitch texture details. It's beautiful. I think that'll be great for that. Two more things I wanted to talk to you about. Pitter Patter Polymer. I know, I'm obsessed. I really have to. She had another update, and I may have gotten some more progress keepers. I have a lot. Okay, I'm just going to say I have a lot of progress to keep track of because I have a lot of projects on the needles. So in the last one, it was a lot of Christmas things. So I'm going to try and do this so you can see it. You see it? Where is it? Oh, there it is. It is a little hot chocolate mug. Can you see that? I'm doing a very poor job of showing this off. But it has a candy cane inside of it. And those are little tiny marshmallows. With this beautiful little holly detail on the outside of the mug. Okay. And my daughter-in-law and I, every year we do Christmas cookies, and we kind of go out of control about it. And we make these big trays, and she takes them to her office, and we've sent them overseas before to our family members who are stationed in the Army. But that is a cookie plate. Can you see all those little cookie details? The plate is supposed to be like a festive Christmas plate, and there are all kinds of cookies on there. Okay, yeah. I wanted to show those to you. I got some other stuff coming in the mail. But I also got my kit for the Marie Wallen, that very elaborate colorwork jacket. And my kit arrived in the mail, and it is all of these beautiful colors of Rowan felted tweed. I almost fell down again. I almost tipped over in my chair. So this, oh, look at that. That tweedy, beautiful. There's that color. And these are not colors that I usually choose. This sort of steely blue. What else is in here? There's a couple of different grays. I know that there's a purple down in there. There's this very dark. Oh my gosh. Oh, here's a good one. This russet. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So this is a long-term project. The knit-along runs for 7 months. That purple. Oh gosh. So I still have to swatch. She highly encourages it to make sure that you have enough yarn, but also just to double check your gauge. So I'm very excited to get started on that project. I also was inspired when I saw Christy Glass Knits video of Show Me Your Rhinebeck Sweater. There were so many fantastic sweaters on that. The floozy cardigan, that was gorgeous. There were tons of Tecumseh sweaters that I have seen some, but there were some that were just gorgeous that really made me want to cast that on. A lot of weekenders, which I have 2 different sets of sweater quantities of yarn for the weekender. What else? Just beautiful. Oh, her sweater was the 70s tee, and she made it stripes in the main body and different stripes on the sleeves, and it was just so cute. And I thought you could do that with so much of this fingering weight yarn that I have, this sock yarn that I have. So yeah, there was just so much inspiration and so many lovely women on there, and their sentiments about knitting were so heartfelt. There was a woman on there who had brain surgery, and she said that knitting saved her life. It distracted her from pain, and it distracted her from the challenges that she was going through. Oh, I was watching it this morning at the breakfast table by myself, and I may have cried a little bit when I saw that. Oh, she just really spoke to me. So, yeah, I'm glad that I came on today to talk to you about the crafting community and my love for the crafting community. I hope that you are loving everything that you're working on, and I hope you come back and visit me during the next episode. Like I said before, if you'd like to subscribe, please do so. I welcome new subscribers. That would be great. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I hope that you have a very beautiful fall and are enjoying the season. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.